So, not had a leg day in a while, have we? Yeah, so a little bit of a prep update. AJ, we're going to go like this. Obviously, not a prep update, that's more of an off-season update, as you can tell. I mean, I look appalling. Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so I'm 4 weeks out this weekend. So as we've been the whole prep, of sort of a week behind Cube. I'm at a point now where probably 4 or 5 pounds away from true stage condition, and again sort of a very similar thing that we've said in other updates. It's just my glutes and hamstrings that are left to come in really. I'd be happy stepping on stage from the front and from the side, but from the back not so much. So it's now just a case of managing all the variables in line with recovery to ensure the performance is as good as it possibly can be, so I can retain as much muscle as possible in all the areas that are already in. So like just chest, shoulders, delts, which is why we're looking at situating high days in just a really intelligent manner. So for example, tomorrow's going to be rest and the day after is going to be push. Push is the session that both of our last push sessions started to take a little bit of a hit. So if I can feed up a little bit going into that session, then that's going to be the most smart way to look at refeeding. So that's the way we're looking at things at the moment. Like I said, sort of 4 or 5 pounds to come off. I'm feeling okay. I'm definitely having days now, especially on rest days with a lot of work, where I feel pretty draggy, to be fair, not gonna lie. Having to sort of dig in a little bit more even just to get the client work done. Like in here, it's always the same sort of vibe. Like once we get going with a good few working sets at the start, the switch is flicked and we're all good. But at home, when you've got a load of check-ins to do, sometimes you can start to feel the effects of, you know, being decently lean. So, but nothing we can't handle. Enjoying it as always.
Oh yeah. For me again, I think every single time I prep, I find the prep much easier. So it has been a smooth ride, and only recently I've started actually feeling like I'm dieting. The hunger isn't quite there yet. I'm still kind of waiting for that, but I think that is largely down to the calories that I was eating in off-season, which my calories are still quite high, which is a good place to be, especially considering that I'm 3.5 weeks out from the first show and 7.5 weeks out from the main show, and then 8.5 weeks out from the final show. So the plan moving forward for me is to come in at 95-90% for NPC European, which will be exactly the same show that I actually earned my pro status in 2 years ago. So it will be nice. I actually did the podcast with the promoter Emilio Martinez, who is probably one of the nicest promoters and nicest people I have met in this industry. And we actually spoke about the procedures that is put in place, which are pretty cool. As obviously we'll fly over, there will be like checks that they're going to have to do, and certain documents we have to fill out. But then on the way back, there will actually be a doctor there that will give us all a COVID test to see if we actually got it or if we haven't. And if we haven't got it, we'll get a certificate that we'll come back home with. We show the certificate, and obviously we don't have to quarantine as we have been tested and we don't have it. So the only way you have to quarantine is if you actually haven't had a test. So that is going to be a blessing, where I'm going to come back home, I'm not going to have to quarantine, and I can continue with my prep with no deviation as well, and not having to actually stay at home. So it will be a huge positive. But for me, I think the main thing is, as always, my back kind of comes in a little slower, but the changes in the past week have been pretty dramatic, and my body weight has gone up. So I think things are definitely looking positive. I'm definitely looking forward to dropping my food a little. But again, the last couple of days alone, I know it's prep time because I'm actually waking up before my alarm, and the quality of my sleep is actually improving a little bit. So I'm not having to kind of stay in bed quite as long, which for me is perfect, because again, I can be a lot more productive, I can get a lot more stuff done, especially now with my energy being up and down a little bit with prep. It is paramount that I do stay organised with having quite a lot of workload at the moment. I do have to stay with it, as again, all three of us are coaches and all three of us are extremely busy, so we're all in the same boat where we have to have the days with perfect structure. If we don't, we fall behind so much, we'll be working into late hours of the night, and I've been guilty of doing that before. I know he has, and I know you have as well, with the amount of clients that you have. So I think the main thing for us is keeping the structure, and I think that's where a lot of people fail in prep and in off-season, not keeping the perfect structure. And one of the people being myself in past, where I used to be napping in the day, then leaving all my work to finish off at night, which again, it's not a good way to be. I still got my work done, but it wasn't quite as productive as I am right now. So that is the biggest difference for me, really, and that is definitely something that I will translate to an off-season. So today we'll be doing a leg session at 3.5 weeks out. I haven't actually done this leg session for you guys yet, so it will be a new session, and obviously we've got big man Cam here that will take over now. He's deep into his off-season, the biggest he's ever been. Obviously Cam will be stepping on stage next year in pursuit of his IFBB pro status, and I believe 100% with looking at the standard of super heavyweights this year. I believe by next year, when Cam comes out on stage, there's not going to be no questions asked. But again, I'll let you touch on your off-season and current condition and where we're at right now.
Yeah, so in terms of like how off-seasons go, this is definitely like the most productive push-up phase I've had. It's actually the heaviest I've ever been in scale weight by about like 1.5 kilos now, and it's 100% the best condition I've been in. And I think that's just down to like how we've managed the push-up so far. In terms of all I've actually done is train less and be able to eat more. So my volume's coming down as I'm getting stronger. As my body weight goes up, my body composition's actually improving as well, which I've not noticed this happen ever before. So it's quite nice. But as we're getting like further and further into it, it's just about managing my recovery, and to do that we're just tapering down volume as I get stronger in certain areas, and keeping my digestion good and like my appetite good as well. This is probably the hungriest I've been at this point in an off season before. Normally by now I've eaten my way to the point where I can't eat any more calories. I'm that fat that I can't use the calories, and therefore training suffers. I've been like napping like 4 or 5 times a day, but in this one I feel as productive as I do like when I'm dieting and when I'm on prep. So I think I've probably got a decent amount more weight that I could put on before needing to come back down, and hopefully a decent amount stronger than that.
I think potentially we'll be able to push it to maybe 130 kilo with the progress that he's made recently. I feel like now his sleep's getting an awful lot better. Obviously we all track our sleep, and again, a lot of people don't believe it, but we like to have the 1% edge over everyone else. So little things like getting a CPAP, which if you can see the size of his neck, naturally most of us would benefit from a CPAP, but especially someone of his attributes, like I think that will be a game changer for him. So I think when he does get the CPAP, I think that's when the progress will really start going. And again, if you want to learn more about that, actually, you guys jump on Stan Efferding. He actually does a podcast about it. And Stan actually has all his athletes sleep on a CPAP. And again, they haven't got sleep apnea, but fact of the matter is, you will sleep better with a CPAP. I've got one myself, but I'm still not got used to sleeping with it on. But I know in off season, for me, it's going to be a must, because as soon as I get over 250, 260, obviously my neck gets a little bit thicker. I've got pencil neck at the moment. Obviously not like Cam, but my neck definitely gets a lot thicker, so I do struggle with sleep, especially when I lay on my back and I sound like a bear. So I think CPAP will be a must. But it's the little things like that that make a huge difference when it comes to progression, and I believe that will take it really to the next level with this lad. And I think by next year it'll be game over when it comes out on stages again. With super heavyweights at the moment, that's no disrespect to anyone, but there is not a complete bodybuilder that I know of that hasn't earned his pro status, apart from Cam yet. So I think by next year it will take some beating. It will take a super freak to come out on stage and really beat him. So I'm looking forward to that. Next year is going to be a big year, just as this year has been. Leg time.
Can we have a bit more talking today?
Think about it. Think about it. I'll try.
Good lad.
I'll try.
Good lad.
Jay's been moaning he had nothing to work from last session. So all I've got to say, if someone's got skill, they'll make it work.
Yeah, I made it work. You know I did.
today. 2 sets of biceps to start with, adductor, then we kill it.
I'll be able to hold that there and just get out.
Slightly more time.
I didn't want to let you go down, you know what I mean? Rather than go over the top. Big adductors, here we come. If you want a big strong adductor, right hand to mess about, use the pin extenders, come to Rotherham. You know what it's at. So credit to Coach Caston. I've been following a lot of his things and speaking to him quite often. And if you're struggling to stabilise your pelvis and a lying leg curl and your hips keep coming up, use a single leg lying leg curl. Using a single leg isolates the hamstring and it forces your hips to stay in position. So that's just one of many things that I have learned from people that are far more knowledgeable than me and often feel like they can share a lot with me and teach me a lot. So forever grateful, and I always give credit to those people. Same as Jordan, obviously my mentor and my coach. Like, I'm not one of the type of people that will always claim that I know it all, but like I said, a lot of this knowledge is passed down from people that are amazing in this industry, so I'll always give them credit. push reps, drop sets and squats, whatever you want. It all feels easy compared to leg extension. If you hit leg extension accurately, there's no pain like it. It feels like you're getting done with a cactus. So much. Not just that, but especially the adductor. One of my clients tore his adductor off the fucking bone. Tore it off the bone, mate. So, yeah. Went too far out, not having it out. Look at my eyes. Gangsters to that die. Very sexy.
How do I leave that handle?
Gonna be close, bro. Stylish.
through the grip and basically being able to grip our teeth and get through feeling like death. We should have regulated our volume when we reached a certain strength in our off season to the volume that we are doing right now. So there's so many lessons that myself and AJ have learned over this prep, including Jordan even, that it's actually a conversation myself had with AJ and I actually had with Jordan this morning. I believe that I can add another 15 pounds of muscle like I have from last year, sorry, from my pro debut to now, but in a shorter time frame, just knowing what I know now and how to apply it so much better when it comes to training. As again, training and recovery is everything. Like anyone can eat 6-7 meals a day, but training, that is what kind of excel and take things past normal, if it makes sense. Super precise, super control, come on. I like it like here. You long bit. So that's fine. Let's go, Cam. Come on. Not asleep, not asleep. Yeah, up now. There, up now. That's your guns now. Perfect, Cam. That's your guns now. Good. Yes. Come on. Come on. Again. All the way. Come on. Up. Again. Yep. Yeah, nice.
To the death.
Yeah, just to the death. No specific rep number, just to the death.
Basically, Hannah's going to need a chiropractor after this set. Oh, there you go. So that's the end of the session. Like I said, this is the kind of volume that we will try and keep up in off season. If anything, as we progress and get stronger, we might even manipulate it a set or there lower. But I feel like from now we have hit a sweet spot. And one thing I'm just discussing with Cam, obviously, he's getting to a point where he's really hitting all-time strength. And to push past certain plateaus, we will have to implement certain procedures. So, for example, with Cam, his posterior chain, his back's immense. And I feel like his top line, especially his chest, and his shoulders are pretty good as well. His chest has to catch up to that. So naturally as well, it's always his chest that you kind of struggle progressing as well, isn't it? So we will be having to focus dramatically with the performance obviously with that. So like I said, to push past certain plateaus, we'll have to implement some weeks and do it in stages where we work with triples just to push past boundaries. And again, we will still keep immaculate form with that, but the way you've got to look at it is when you do progress, and that's the school of JP, that's one thing that Jordan has obviously taught me, and like I said earlier in the video, I will always give credit to the people I'm learning from, such as Cass, Jordan, Joe Bennett, people like that I do keep in touch with, and obviously that helped me along the way. But obviously Jordan's the main man. Jordan's the one I speak to every day and learn from every day. And again, we will work it in and stagger it across the weeks that we have. Obviously we'll have the D volume weeks, but we will work with a week where we'll work with triples for Cam to get used to really new lows, and then when we revisit the lighter lows in high rep ranges, he will really be able to push that past that plateau, and that is the way to really bring up any body parts that aren't quite getting as strong as his posterior chainers, for example. So that's one thing that we'll be able to show you. Also, Cam actually has his own YouTube channel, so if you want to follow his prep, his off-season prep on that, please do so. Obviously, Cam, I'll let you get on that and introduce it so people can actually get on that as well.
Yeah, it's literally, since starting Kuba, I just thought I wanted to document the process, because it's, you know, it's an off season, yeah, but I'm still prepping for a show. Like, I'm prepping for a show now. Through my off season to get ready to prep, so I thought it'd be a good idea to just document the whole process. So my YouTube channel is just Cameron Mackay. So if you search that, it'll all be on there. I'm sure we'll be getting some videos of you in there.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like I said, I think that is another thing that people miss. Like, Cam knows what he wants, and he knows he's got the potential to be one of the top pros. So, like I said, the prep never ends, but it's just a case of however you approach it. And if you truly love it, like we do, like, it's not a chore, we enjoy this process, like, we love it. And I think that's the difference between people that kind of do it for the right reasons, their own reasons. Like, our lives are based around this, and we live it, breathe it, and that is a pure example of the progress that I'm making and progress that Cam's making. So obviously, you guys are fortunate enough for us to share this with you and share as much knowledge as we can. And obviously, if you want to learn more and get more in-depth detail, please visit trainbygp.com. I always put the links in the description, and I'll also put the obviously Cam's name and a link to his YouTube in the description below as well. So thank you guys, hit like and subscribe, and let me know what you want to see next. Peace.